Hi and welcome back. So we're going to make a gratitude tree. So let's look at the canvas. Whatever size canvas you have, I'm using a bigger canvas today, but you can use a smaller one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the tree trunk. So I also hope that you have your words of things that you're grateful for. Things like food on your table, your family, or anything, that you can think of. So I hope you have a list because you're going to need them. You're going to incorporate them into the drawing. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the trunk of the tree. And you don't make a straight line. There's no trees that are exactly straight. We're making a big oak tree. So we're going to go up one side and now up the other side so that your tree should look like that. Okay. And your tree should have some roots on the bottom because we are grounded, right? We're grounded. And that's what gives us things to be grateful for. The fact that we are grounded. There we go. So we got some roots. There we go. And now we're going to make some branches for our tree. We're going to go up on either side. We're going to make some branches go up this way. And you don't want them straight. You just kind of want them kind of squiggly because that's what branches do, right? And we're going to go and just add to the tree by putting some branches here and there. Okay, now on this part here, we want to make a line next to the other one, starting where it's a little bit wider, and then it gets a little less wide. And we're going to go to this one, which is right next to it, and we're going to do the same thing, kind of follow the curvature that we made, and getting to the top, and it was going to go off the page, and we want to be, when it gets to the top, we want it to be we want it to be very close to the line almost like disappears into it. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to this one. There we go. And we get narrower and narrower as we get to the top. And we're going to do the same thing for this one here. I don't know if you ever noticed that with trees, but they do get, the branches get much more thin at the closer they get to the top of the tree. There we go. We're going to have them all going off the page. And then again, we're going to do the same thing to the other branches that we made. Some of them should not go off the page. And let's see, this one here that we made, we'll do the same thing. Starts out heavier and then it gets much lighter. Same thing with this one. There we go. We're going to do another one here. And let's see, I think we need another one here. And maybe we'll make one going here. Branches don't follow any rhyme or reason. They just grow, and they never grow straight. Okay, so There we go. Now, I think we need to make a little bit of tree bark going up the tree. Just a little bit of lines. There we go. We got some tree bark. And we can continue that tree bark up through some of the branches. There we go. Those even branches have some bark to it. Okay. So that should be your tree. It should look like that. Now on this tree, we are going to make some leaves. And we're going to make them sort of almost like shaped like a leaf, so that it's, what shape would that be? It's not quite oval, but we are going to exaggerate them a little bit and make them much bigger than we would see them normally from the ground. And so we got one going that way, and there we go. So it's like a half moon and then another half moon. Then a half moon, then another half moon. Let's see, this one here will make a half moon and another half moon. And these are our trees. They are going to carry our words for things we're grateful for. Let's see. And one up here. And one more there. Okay, so, and those are our leaves for our gratitude tree. And we're going to put a couple on the ground, because leaves fall to the ground. But we always have to remember to pick them up. Even like the things we're grateful for, sometimes we forget about them. They fall to the ground. But we don't let them stay there. We pick them up. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make mountains in the background. If you've been with me before, you know I love my mountains in the background. And then I'm drawing upside down so that you can see a little bit better, but we're going to have our trees. There we go. Our squiggles that kind of show evergreen trees in the background. And then I thought it would be very lovely to have a swing coming from this branch here, and just coming straight down like that, and there we go. And we're going to put like some little bit of circles on it, which is gonna kind of signify rope. So we'll color it later. Another way you can do it is you can kind of go like that too, which is another way. I like the look of the round balls. I just think that looks just so lovely. So that is what we have there. Now, each of these leaves are going to have a word in them. And so what kinds of things had you decided you were grateful for? So for me, I decided that I'm grateful for the love in my life. I'm grateful for my kid, grateful for my health and my house. And I'm grateful for my friends and my siblings and my career. And so those are some of the things that I'm going to put as words. But unlike usual, when we usually write inside the, we write thing, if we're going to write something, we put it on first. I don't want to do that this time because I'm going to only paint these leaves very faintly, and we're going to trust ourselves when we're using the marker to do a good job and to not make a mistake. If you do not feel comfortable with it, then by all means use a pencil first. Okay, so now we're going to color it in. Since I was sort of upside down before when I was drawing, I'm going to kind of fix it a little bit. So I really didn't love the way I did it. So there we go. There we go. Okay, so first thing I like to do, almost always, is my sky. Get that sky in there. It's usually the best place to start when you're doing watercolors. Let's see. I always have a sloppy workstation. I don't know why. I just, somehow I just do. Okay, so as we're doing the sky, we want to make sure that we don't go over everything. So you can go over the trees a little bit, but don't go over the leaves. You can go over some of the branches if you want to, but try really hard not to go over the leaves. And start with the lightest blue that you can, so that you're coloring it, but you're really coloring it very faintly. We're going to go over it later with some more blue, but we're starting with the lightest blue. So I don't know if you can see the color I'm using, but this is my blue. And it's very light. It's not a navy. It's a very light color. As a matter of fact, I just put on some and it was a little too dark for me, but that's okay. We'll live with it. Let's see. There you go. I'll spread it out and now I'm fine with it. So brown is darker than blue, and that's why we're putting the blue on first, because when the brown goes on the tree, which is the color we're going to make the tree, when the brown goes on the tree, it's even if there's any blue on there, you're definitely not gonna see it. But in the leaves, we want to make sure that we keep them pristine, because we're going to put different colors in that, and we want our words to pop. So, as you can see here, we got the background for the sky, and I pretty much kept the leaves white. So, okay. Oh, silly me. I forgot to do the rest of the sky. I'm thinking that was mountains underneath it. Duh. So now we're just going to go across this way and just finish up the sky on either side of the tree. And again, if you get a little bit of the tree or a little bit of the mountains in, that's okay, because you're going to put brown in later. Now, when you're coloring with watercolors, you really don't want to just color in like you're coloring in with a crayon. You want to color in almost like squiggly lines, so that what you miss, you see how I did that? What you miss actually looks like clouds in the sky. So, okay. And we're going to color in the tree. And we're going to get, I've got a few colors of brown, and I've got some oranges. And so this tree is going to take on, I've got 2 colors of brown, and I'm going to use them both. So I have this color of brown right here, which is very faint. It's a very faint color. And we're going to go on the tree, down all the way to the, there we go, down all the way to the, sometimes painting and talking is not so easy. Going to go all the way down to the roots and all the way up to the top. And as you can see, this is really more of a tan. So this is the thing. I always put on the lighter color first. So there's some color on there. But now we're going to accent it with, I'm going to use a little bit of orange. And although trees are not orange, we all know that trees are not orange. I know they're not orange too. Just in case you're worried that I think that trees are orange. I do not think they're orange. But in the sunlight, we have different colors that show up on things. And so even though a tree isn't orange, some of the bark can sometimes just kind of, just along one side of the branches, that's accounting for some light. Just along one side. That's all. I was just going to count for some light there. And it's not a lot, just a teeny bit. That's all. Just a little bit. And this side here, I went and I put some, in each of the crevices, I put just a little bit of orange. But now I went off to this side here. And that is where the light is coming from. And so it just shows that, because all of my branches, all on that side to the left side, all are just have just a little bit of orange to it. Okay, now we're going to take the darker brown. There we go. And we're going to go up the other side of the branches and of the tree to kind of account for the fact that that doesn't have so much light. And you don't have to get it on every branch. So it's always a challenge making sure that you don't get your brush too wet, because you don't want it to drip. But you want it to be wet enough so that it doesn't, so that it can actually flow, because they are watercolors, so they need water to color. Now you can do the same exercise, same thing with acrylics. You can sketch what it is that you want to draw, which is our gratitude tree, but you have to wait until the paint is completely dry before you can write the words in your leaves. That's the only difference. Well, you still have to do it here, but it takes much longer for a tree, a tree. It takes much longer for a tree to dry. It takes much longer for the paint to dry when it's acrylic. There we go. And now we're going to go over it with a little bit of water. So this is like just a little wet brush technique that kind of blends it all in a little tiny bit. There we go. And just do that on the bottom. And that is our tree. You see, we can see the bark a little bit. It's not barking, it's just bark. Haha. Okay, I think I'm funny. So now we're going to take that same, actually let's do the mountains. So I think these mountains today are going to be a combination of a couple of colors. So again, I'm going to do some brown. I'm going to do a very light brown. So I'm going to do just a light wash. So how do we do a wash? We take water, we put it in our color, we put it on the paper, put more paint and more water on our brush, and then we just make sure that it's good and wet, so that when you go across, it's light. So see how we have that here? So barely, it's faint. Okay, so we'll put other colors in later, but now we're going to go with our greens, and we're going to again go with a light green and go with our evergreen trees and just color them in nicely with the really light green, because that's going to be our contrast color. And there we go. Beautiful. And the foreground is also going to be mostly green too. So we're going to go and color in the foreground underneath the trees, and underneath the big tree, and underneath all the trees in the background. Don't get the swing, and also don't get the leaves that we have here on the bottom. Where's my... Alrighty. So we have our foreground in, and again, you see we have the foreground in, but we don't have the leaves colored. And last but not least, before we get to putting in a little bit more of our detail, and before we put in color our leaves, we want to do the swing. So I'm going to actually put a yellow over where I put the the rope that's supposed to be holding it down. And I'm going to take a tiniest bit of orange, and also put that, let's get that orange. And just kind of put a little bit of orange in there too. so that we've got, you know, when you see rope, it's more of a golden color. It's not quite yellow, it's not quite orange. And so orange and yellow will make it more of a goldish kind of look, if you see what I mean here. And I think you will see that is a little bit more of a goldish color. And that's how we've achieved that. Okay, so going back to a very dark brown, and actually I'm just gonna add that there. That makes me happy. Okay, so now we're gonna go with the dark, really dark brown, and make sure it's a good dark. So this one we want to be like that color right there. And we're just going to color in the swing and make that nice and brown. There you go. It's one little, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Now, we're going to go again on the top of the mountains. We're going to go with our darker brown, that same color that we used on the swing. And we're going to now go and account for some of the runoff that you see on mountains, right? So we see runoff usually from the top of the mountains, and so that's what we're going to see there. Account. There you go. There we go. So there's a little bit of runoff. And I think we need also a lighter brown. So if you don't happen to have 2 or 3 different browns, you can make it lighter by either adding some other color like a yellow to it to make it lighter, or just making it a lot more wet. So I happen to have lighter colors, so there we go. As you can see now, I have some very pale brown, and then I have some really dark brown, and then I have some medium brown. That's kind of accounting for what you kind of see when you're looking at mountains in the distance. Okay, so now we're going to do with some green. We'll go with the next, so the green that I used is really a yellow green. So now you really want to do a green. So we're going to go across the top of the, where the tree line is, and just accommodate for where those trees, the treetops go. And on the bottom, we're going to also add some grass. Again, really try very hard not to draw on top of the leaves, because we want to be able to see. We want to be able to see what we're going to write inside them. Okay, and again, anywhere that you put a squiggly line earlier when you were making your trees to show for the fact that there's a fanning out of leaves. When you have an evergreen tree, just kind of go over that with a darker colored green, but not the darkest color. So we went in with the lightest green first, and now we're going with a darker green. And now we're going to go with a blue green. So let's see. This is a blue green. We're going to go, you don't want it to be too wet. Okay. And this and go, we're going to kind of just in between the lines that you already made, you're going to use this green. There we go. Okay. And my yellow green, I actually want to use again on the bottom a little bit and kind of just go make it a little soft lines on the soft grass lines. Just, you know, when you're looking at grass, especially grass that hasn't been mowed, this is in a park or something, nobody's mowing any grass, so it's all different colors and all different sizes, and there's lots of it, so we want to account for that, right? Okay, and again, we just want to get different colors of green in our painting. Okay, so your painting at this point should look something like that. Now we're going to put different colors on the leaves. And we're going to have a very interesting tree, a tree you don't pretty much see anywhere because they're not going to be green leaves. We're going to make very opaque leaves. So we're going to go with pink and orange and yellow. Those are the colors that we're going to use. So let's go with a pink here. And there we go. We'll put some pink on the bottom. You know, what leaves are pink? Leaves that are pink, like cherry blossoms. Yeah, well, but this isn't a cherry blossom tree. And maybe it's fall, so still you don't see pink leaves in the fall. You might see red, you don't see pink. Okay, let's see. And let's go with some orange. And this orange. You don't want to do too many orange because we have a lot of orange in this painting to begin with, and we want some colors to pop. We'll put a little bit of orange in, but not a lot. Let's see. Maybe an orange there. And maybe one more orange. And that's it. We have enough oranges. Okay. And we're going to put some yellow. Okay, so we got a yellow here, and a yellow over here, and another yellow here. And look at your painting as you're doing it. You might see that maybe you have too much on one side, so you maybe want to make sure you maybe you'll want to go back and use some pink again, or use some orange if you don't feel like you have enough orange. Okay, so now I'm looking at my painting. I'm seeing I want another color, but I don't know what color I want to use. I'm thinking, do I want to use purple? It's a really psychedelic tree, huh? Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. Do I want to use a red? Which I don't think I want, but let me look and see. Huh. I'm not sure. Do I want to put more pink? Once you're committed to another color, you have to use that color. I don't know if orange would be too, or red rather. I think it'll make it too stark. It's a different statement. Okay, I'm not going with it. I'm not going to be, you know what? I'm going to be brave. I may be sorry, but I'm going to, I think that, let's see. I think it'll just make it pop. Just that much. So I'm going to put one right here. There's a red. And then there's a red. I say be brave. Yeah, it just makes it pop just that much. Okay. I like that. I'm glad that I took the risk. I took the risk and I went with a little bit of red. I think it makes a really big difference. See, sometimes taking a risk is a good thing. Okay. So, while we're waiting for this painting to dry, here we go. Let's see. I think I need a new marker here. Okay, so while we're waiting for this painting to dry, and I don't want to be writing the words in while the leaves are drying, because that would end up being a disaster for the painting. I'm going to start just going over the branches, and there you go, even going over the leaves, but not writing inside them. Doesn't take long for a watercolor to dry. Probably about maybe 20 minutes. And we're going to color some of the, going to just accentuate some of the squiggles, some of the tree bark. That I made squiggles to kind of accentuate them. And we're going to just go up through the tree. Not on all of the lines, but on some of them. And it really is just a squiggle. That's it. Just a little squiggle to show some tree bark. Doesn't have to be on every one. There we go. And, okay. Oh, there's another one that needs a squiggle. I always say this, I think on every lesson that I ever have, I always say, this is why we use the pencil. Because if we didn't, and we were just, it's so easy to just follow the pencil line. Then it would be to be doing this at this point with the marker for the first time. That can absolutely be a recipe for disaster. And for sure, it can be, it can ruin the picture. Although usually you can find a way to be creative and salvage the picture in some way. Maybe you'll put a swing where you didn't plan on it, or another tree where you didn't plan on it. Maybe you'll just have to cut that piece out. I've done that. But sometimes you just don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. And that also is a lesson in life, too. You know, just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you throw everything out. You know, when you're baking a cake, you know, if you burn a piece of it, but you don't burn the whole thing, you just keep the piece that you didn't burn. And you cut the rest of it out. You know, I just made a mistake there. And I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that later. I think I'm going to make a bird. It's amazing how this painting craze took over. And a lot of people like to do this now. And that's where I came up with the idea that why not paint and use it as a reinforcer for good habits or understanding yourself. So you'd have a relaxing time painting, but you also come away with maybe some thoughts that might help you in other areas of your life. And that's how I came up with this idea. I always loved painting, but I would be a starving artist if I decided that I was going to be a painter, which I was in college. I was going to do art, and then I was going to be an art therapist. Okay, so we see over here, I don't know if you can see, but I think it's important that you see that even a teacher can make a mistake. And so, let's show you this. Where is it? Okay, there we go. It's right there. Right here. Right there on top of the yellow. So what I'm going to do is, going to make a bird. There we go. But because I have one bird, because I made a mistake, now I need to make another bird somewhere else. Otherwise it just looks like, what the heck is she doing? So, and that is how we cover our mistakes. We don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. And so I lost control of my finger because this page is curling up on me. But that's okay. So you do not have to do that if you did not make a mistake. But I did, so I have to. Okay, so now what are some of our words that we came up with? So, my words I came up with, I'm grateful for love. I'm grateful for my kid. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful, believe it or not, I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for my extended family. Let's see, what other things did I say? Oh, I'm grateful for gifts. I just got some gifts recently. I'm grateful for my health. I had cancer a couple of years ago. I'm grateful I don't have that. I'm grateful for music. And I'm going to put music in a couple of places because I'm grateful for music. I'm grateful that I have enough money to buy the things I need. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my cat. Actually, cats. I'm grateful for my dog who I lost, but I still think of him and I love him. I'm grateful for my niece. I only have one. I'm going to put my daughter's name here. I'm grateful for Caitlin. I'm grateful for my boyfriend. I'm going to put his name here, Rich. And I'm grateful for my friends. And last but certainly not least, when it's actually the number one thing, I'm grateful to and for God. And so that is what my gratitude tree looks like. And on the bottom. And as you can see, that is what it looks like. And I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you have found some grace and peace in doing this activity, and I hope that you have many things that you're grateful for. Have a great day. Bye.